Hello viewers, this is Ranjana ma'am and you are watching, yes, mine as well as your channel. And you must know, I'm sure you know very well, one of you had pointed out, ma'am, you are so innocent. In the thumbnail only we get to know what we are to find in this video. Yeah, so there is no suspense in it. The last part of the trial scene of Merchant of Venice, Act 4 Scene 1. I had already done part 1 and 2 of this scene, and one more scene is left, the summing up of the trial scene. By the way, you know what is coming. If you have not subscribed to my channel up till now, please do. Why? Because I am close to my 50k mark, though that is only halfway. So please subscribe, share it, so that I reach the mark quite fast. And that too would be only halfway. At this moment my target is 100k and I need your support. You have been beside me all this time and be by my side in future also. So we are going to start Act 4 Scene 1, the third part of it. So where do we start from? When Portia had heard Bassanio making the offer that he would rather sacrifice everything to this Kurdish Jew to stop any damage coming to Antonio's person, and in the very presence of Portia. So Portia is not, she remarks that your wife would hardly be giving you any thanks for this. Then Nerissa is also equally unhappy, or rather she tells Gratiano, because Gratiano has always a habit of going one step further than what Bassanio says. So he says, I love my wife, but I would wish that she were in heaven, so that she could use some heavenly power to stop Shylock from his evil motives. To this also, this Nerissa also says that yes, your wife, it's good you don't say it in her presence, otherwise it would have given rise to a discord in the family. And Shylock is very displeased with these Christian husbands. Why? Because more so because his daughter has run away with a Christian, and he says, just see the example of Christian husbands. And I would prefer that my daughter marry someone from the line of Barabbas than marrying a Christian. So the someone in the line of Barabbas, a murderer, is more welcome to him than Christian husbands. And then he is telling that we are wasting time. So Portia tells, yes, a pound of that same merchant's flesh is thine, the court awards it, and the law doth give it. So this is where we stopped in the previous video, and this is my third part, the last one, the summing up of the trial scene. So Shylock is very happy. So what does he say? Most rightful judge. Why? Because he feels that Portia is supporting him, supporting his claim. So most rightful judge. Portia, and you must cut this flesh from off his breast. So from where are you to cut this pound of flesh? Close to his breast, because that is what has been mentioned in the bond. The law allows it and the court gives, and the court awards it. Yeah. So the law also allows this and the court sanctions this, gives permission to this. Most learned judge. Shylock's compliments. Very learned judge. A sentence, what a judgment. Come, prepare. This is for Antonio. Come, get ready. Portia, tarry a little. I always tell my students, pay attention on this word tarry. Why? Because it will appear in two places. And many times questions come. Why does Portia say tarry? So in two cases the answers are different, and many times I have seen my students confuse one for the other. That is why I always make a point to turn your attention to this fact that tarry comes twice and two times for two different reasons. This time she says tarry a little, and a little later she will say tarry Jew. Why? Just see. Tarry a little, there is something else. So he was very happy and he is now ready to cut the pound of flesh. Then at the right moment Portia stops him. Tarry means wait a little. Something else is there. The bond doth give thee here no jot of blood. So since Shylock was adamant that every point of the bond should be carried out, and what is not written in the bond is not allowed. In the same way, what is not sanctioned in the bond, you cannot take it. So the bond allows you, of course, 1 pound of flesh, but not a drop of blood. The words expressly are a pound of flesh. So the words clearly are 1 pound of flesh. Take then thy bond. Take thou thy pound of flesh. Yeah, take your bond. Take your pound of flesh. But in cutting it, if thou dost shed 1 drop of Christian blood, thy lands and goods are, by the laws of Venice, confiscate unto the state of Venice. Oh my God, Shylock, had he ever thought this would happen? Yes, the bond promises you 1 pound of flesh. Take your bond. You are being allowed to carry out the conditions mentioned in the bond, or whatever has been mentioned in the bond, take it. But in the bond nothing is mentioned about blood. It is only said 1 pound of flesh. It is not allowing you any blood. So while cutting the pound of flesh, if you shed 1 drop of this Christian Antonio's blood, what will happen? What are the consequences? So your lands, all your mobile and immobile property, everything will be confiscated by the laws of Venice unto the state of Venice. Everything will go to the state treasury. Shylock now is in trouble. And who is very jubilant? Gratiano. Oh, upright judge. Mark Jew? Oh, learned judge. Yes, Jew, note. Up till now it had been Shylock who was praising Portia. And now it is the time for Gratiano to be jubilant. So he says, yes, Jew, just see what a learned judge. Is that the law? Shylock is utterly confused. Is that the law? Portia, thou thyself shalt see the act. For as thou urgest justice, be assured, thou shalt have justice more than thou desirest. Yes, yes, you will see the how the law functions, how it operates. You had urged for justice and you will get it much more than you had asked for. Yes, you were demanding justice. I want justice, justice. Yes, you will get justice, but much more than you are asking for. Gratiano. Oh, learned judge. Mark Jew, a learned judge. So Jew, just see what a learned judge. Shylock. I take this offer then, pay the bond thrice and let the Christian go. So he feels now cutting the flesh is dangerous. It will result in the confiscating of all his property. So not done, because you cannot you cannot cut a pound of flesh without shedding any drop of blood. That is impossible. So then which is the better option? Let me take thrice the money offered to me and let him go. So Bassanio wants to settle the case fast. So the next moment he says, here is the money. But Portia, she will teach the Jew a lesson for his cruelty. Many of my YouTube students have said, ma'am, it seems you support Shylock. No, see, I'm being impartial. Shylock, if he has been cruel towards Antonio, there are reasons. All of a sudden, he just didn't ask for this pound of flesh. There was a reason for it. He had been treated very badly by Antonio and the Christians of Venice. But at the same time, he becomes more cruel than is needed. Yes, as Antonio had insulted him, kicked him, spat on his gabardine Jewish dress, yes, called him a dog. But Antonio didn't harm his life. So Shylock, in doing that, loses our sympathy. But before that, of course, we had sympathy for Shylock, because we are not Christians that we should hate him. We are impartial viewers. So Shylock wants the 3 times the money offered and wants to settle the case, and immediately Bassanio feels that before he changes his mind, let me offer him the money. But Portia, I told you, she will teach the Jew a nice lesson. Soft, wait. The Jew shall have all justice. Soft, no haste. He shall have nothing but the penalty. This is for Bassanio. Stop. Bassanio was offering the money, so she says stop. The Jew had been urging for justice, so he will have full justice. He had said, my deeds upon my head, I claim justice and all that. Yes, so take justice. And then she again tells Bassanio, don't be in a hurry. He will have nothing but his penalty, which is a pound of the merchant's flesh. Gratiano. Oh, Jew, an upright judge, a learned judge. See, Jew, Shylock, see, what an upright judge, what a learned judge. But this time it is not in favor of Shylock, it is in favor of the Christians, Antonio. In favor of Antonio, in favor of the Christians who are his friends. So it is Bassanio's time to call Portia a learned and upright judge. And he is deliberately calling upon Shylock and saying, see, judge, what an upright judge. See, Shylock, what an upright judge. Portia, therefore, prepare thee to cut off the flesh. Yeah, so get ready to cut off the flesh, she is telling Shylock. Shed thou no blood, nor cut thou less nor more. Another difficult condition added. You will not be allowed to shed any blood. Another point to be noted is that you will neither cut more than a pound nor less than a pound. The bond promises you only 1 pound, not more. So you might say, okay, I won't cut more, I rather cut less. No, you can't cut less also. Exactly 1 pound. And that is very difficult. How can you exactly cut 1 pound? But just a pound of flesh, if thou cuttest more or less than just a pound, be it but so much as it makes it light or heavy in the substance, or the division of the 20th part of 1 poor scruple, nay, if the scale do turn, but in the estimation of a hair, thou diest, and all thy goods are confiscated. Oh my God, my God. Really, really difficult condition. If you cut a little less or a little more, even by the 1/20th part of a scruple, scruple is the smallest unit of measurement, and 1/20th part of that scruple, that means it will be hardly visible. Even if you cut that part more or that part less, or if you cut more or less in the breadth of a hair, you know the breadth of a hair, estimation of a hair, then also you will die. That means it has to be exactly 1 pound, not a little more, not a little less. 1/20th part of a scruple less or more is also not allowed. And if you do that, what will happen? You die and your property is confiscated. It goes to the government. Shylock in real trouble. Even a butcher wouldn't know how much is exactly 1 pound. When a butcher cuts the flesh from the whatever animal he is cutting. So first he cuts maybe a little more, and then he puts it on the scale, weighs it, and then lessens it, or he cuts a little less and then he adds a little more. But exactly 1 pound, I don't think even a butcher will be able to cut. So Shylock is in real trouble. So, and Portia says no, he cannot have the money. Why? Because he has refused it. He will have only penalty. Now Gratiano, this is like adding salt to the injuries. As it is, Shylock is in trouble and Gratiano keeps on teasing him. His own words are being sent back to him. Earlier he had been jubilant and calling Portia a Daniel. Now it is Gratiano's turn to tease Shylock and call Portia Daniel. A second Daniel, a Daniel Jew. So he's telling a Jew, see, this is a Daniel. Now infidel, I have you on the hip. Infidel means a non-believer in Christianity. So Shylock is a Jew, that is why he's an infidel. And I have you on the hip means I have you in I have you at my advantage. That means I have you at a disadvantageous position. Shylock is in disadvantage now. And Gratiano says, I have now a strong hold on you. Portia, why doth the Jew pause? Why are you waiting? Take thy forfeiture, take your penalty. Shylock, why are you waiting? Carry on. You had been asking for such a long time that you wanted a speedy justice. And now that you are being given justice, why are you waiting? Give me my principal and let me go. He is a defeated man. What is his principal? The 3,000 ducats he had lent to Bassanio. At least give me that and let me go. He had come here so happy to cut the pound of flesh from Antonio and see him dying, so that he could do whatever business he liked if Antonio were out of Venice. And at the end of the day, where is he? He is in a very disadvantageous position. He is not getting his pound of flesh. And the money also which had been offered to him earlier, that also he is not allowed to have. So now he is asking for his bare principal, the 3,000 ducats, at least give me that and let me go. So Bassanio, again I told you, he is over eager with the money which is not his, it is Portia's money. I have it ready for thee. Here it is. So the 3,000 ducats, take it. Portia, he hath refused it in the open court. He shall have merely justice and his bond. No, you are not going to give him that 3,000 ducats. Why? He has already refused it. So he is not going to have anything but justice, and that too at his own danger, at his own risk. Gratiano, a Daniel, still I say a second Daniel. Another thing to be noted is Gratiano also says a Daniel twice. First time he says a second Daniel, a Daniel Jew, when Portia tells that if you cut the pound of flesh a little less or little more, by the estimation of a hair you die and your property will go to the state of Venice, will be confiscated. That is where he says a Daniel, a second Daniel, a second Daniel, a Daniel. And another time he says first a Daniel and then he calls second Daniel when Bassanio offers the 3,000 ducats to Shylock, his bare principal, and Portia stops him from giving that by saying that he will have justice and nothing more. Then he calls a Daniel, a second Daniel. Why am I pointing this out? Because there are times when you get these questions and you are confused. Tarry and Daniel, they have been said twice, so on which occasions you have to be clear about it. Otherwise you will get confused and your answers will be different, rather wrong. Okay, so that is why I am pointing out. Keep in mind. I thank thee, Jew, for teaching me that word. Jew or Shylock, I really thankful to you for teaching me the word Daniel. Shylock, poor man. Shall I not have barely my principal? Am I not going to have just my principal, that 3,000 which is my money, which I had lent? Am I not going to have that also? Thou shalt have nothing but the forfeiture. You are not going to have anything but the forfeiture. But I think this is wrong. He should be having the principal and the forfeiture. Why should he not be allowed the principal amount of money? This is an injustice. But well, Shakespeare is the writer, not I. Okay. So thou shalt have nothing but the forfeiture, to be taken, so taken at thy peril due. No, you are only going to have the penalty. What is the penalty? A pound of flesh, and that also to be taken at your risk. Why? Then the devil give him good of it. I'll stay no longer question. Okay, then may he go to hell. May the devil take him. I am not going to stay here any longer, because if he is, it's no use standing here any longer. He is not going to get what he had been desiring, what he had been aiming at. So he turns to go, but Portia will not allow him to go so easily. So now comes that tarry Jew. That time it was tarry a little, this time it is tarry Jew. When does she say tarry Jew? When Shylock is ready to leave, then she says tarry Jew. And you might get a question, why does she say tarry a Jew? Tarry Jew. The law had another hold on you. Stop, Shylock, you cannot leave. Why? Because the law has another hold. That means this time she tells Shylock to wait. Why? Because he was leaving the court, and the earlier time she had told him to wait when he was ready to cut the pound of flesh from Antonio's body. So saying tarry on two different occasions, and you have to keep this in mind. Tarry Jew this time when he is about to leave, and tarry a little when he is about to cut the pound of flesh. Okay, keep this in mind, no more confusions. She reads from a book. This is the law book of Venice. It is enacted in the laws of Venice, if it be proved against an alien, here alien means a foreigner, that by direct or indirect attempts he seeks the life of any citizen, the party against the which he doth contrive shall seize 1/2 of his goods. The other half comes to the privy coffer of the state, and the offender's life lies in the mercy of the dukes only against all other voices. So now she is reading from the law book of Venice. What is written in it? That according to the laws of Venice, if a foreigner conspires to take the life of a citizen of Venice, either directly or in an indirect fashion, then what is the punishment he should get? Then the party against whom he had conspired, that party will get half of his goods. So his goods will be confiscated. The party against whom he had plotted, that person will get half of his goods, and the other half will go to the state treasury. And the offender, the person who had planned this, that foreigner, his life will be at the mercy of the duke. Duke only can allow him his life. Offender's life will be at the mercy of the duke only against everyone. Means no one else can do anything about it. It is up to the duke only to forgive him or to punish him. With the orders of execution. Either he gives him the orders of execution that he should be executed, or he gives him the forgiveness. But it lies entirely upon the duke whether to allow him to live or to give him the death sentence. In which predicament I say thou standest, and I am saying that you stand in a similar situation. For it appears by manifest proceeding that indirectly and directly too thou hast contrived against the very life of the defendant, and thou hast incurred the danger formerly by me rehearsed. Down therefore and beg mercy of the duke. So it seems in a number of ways that directly and in an indirect fashion also you have plotted against the very life of the defendant. Who is the defendant? Antonio. You have plotted against his life, and as such you have incurred the danger which I have just now said. What is the danger? Half of your property will go to the defendant, to the person against whom you had plotted, half will go to the state, and your life will be at the mercy of the Duke. So go down on your knees and beg mercy of the Duke. Beg mercy of the Duke. Why? So that he forgives your life. Remember, at one time he had not thought that he doesn't need mercy. Why should I need mercy having done no wrong? And soon what happens? Just see the irony. Soon he is in such a situation that he needs mercy. So Gratiano, yes, putting all the more salt to the injuries of Shylock and rubbing it. Beg that thou mayest have leave to hang thyself, and yet thy wealth being forfeit to the state, thou hast not left the value of a cord. Therefore thou must be hanged at the state's charge. So instead of begging for your life from the Duke, beg to the Duke that you should be allowed to hang yourself. And since you don't have any money left with you, why? Because all your money goes to the state and to Antonio. You don't have the money left to buy a cord with which you will hang yourself. In order to hang yourself, you need a cord, you need a rope. But you don't have any money left to buy a rope because all the money has been confiscated. So beg to the Duke that he allows you the money to buy a rope to hang yourself. Now Shylock is silent. He knows that it's not my day. The day which had started so well has suddenly become very cloudy for me. It is their turn to rejoice now. So he doesn't answer. Duke, that thou shalt see the difference of our spirit now, the high and mighty Christian attitude. So he tries to show that Christians are superior beings. That thou shalt see the difference of our spirit. I pardon thee thy life before thou ask it. So before you ask for your life, I forgive you. In this way, he is trying to show that in comparison to the Jews, how kind and noble the Christians are. So before you ask for your life only, I am forgiving you. Before you ask me for forgiveness, I am forgiving you. That is the difference between your spirit and our spirit. For half thy wealth, it is Antonio's. Yeah, all the wealth which has been confiscated, half of it is Antonio's. I have no voice there. But regarding the other half which comes to the state treasury, the other half comes to the general state, which humbleness may drive into a fine. So the other half which comes to the state, if you beg humbly if you repent humbly for your sins, for your mistakes, for your offense, then I can let you go with a fine. I'll explain. See, suppose Shylock has, it's just an example, suppose Shylock has 1 lakh ducats. 50,000 goes to Antonio, you don't have any voice over it. But the 50,000 which comes to the state treasury, the Duke says that if you are really repentant and beg sincerely for your misdeeds, then we can allow you to go off with a fine. So the 50,000 of Shylock which has gone to the state treasury, if you are very sincere in your apologies, then by taking only 10,000 as a fine, we can allow you back the 40,000. We can give you back the 40,000 and take 10,000 as a fine. I think this is a good proposition that the Duke is offering. Something is better than nothing. You won't have anything. 50,000 to Antonio, 50,000 to the state treasury, and Shylock is left penniless. So the Duke offers him some money, only taking a part of it as a fine if Shylock is sincerely repentant. Portia, for the state, not for Antonio. Yeah, that applies to the state, not for Antonio, because Antonio's money, he has his voice over it. What to do, what not to do. So what the Duke says regarding the fine and letting it go, it is about the state treasury, the money which will go to the state treasury. This is what the Duke offers. Shylock, nay, take my life and all, pardon not that. So what's the use of giving me life? Don't forgive me my life, take my life also. You take my house when you do take the prop that doth sustain my house. You take my life when you do take the means whereby I live. So what's the use of giving me my life? So when you pull away the supports of my house, the pillars of my house, then my house will automatically fall. In the same way, I am a money lender. If you take away my money, what's the use of giving me life? Because without money I cannot sustain myself. So it's no use giving me my money, giving me back my life, take my life as well. Because how can I live without money? See, the Jews were only allowed one profession in Venice, that was money lending. So if you are a money lender, you need money. So how can I continue with my life if I have no money? So it's no use giving me my life, take that also away. What mercy can you render him, Antonio? So Antonio, what mercy can you show him? Graciano, a halter gratis, nothing else, for God's sake. For God's sake, don't show him any mercy. Give him a halter or a rope to hang himself. Antonio, so please my lord the Duke and all the court to quit the fine for 1/2 of his goods. I am content. So he tells the lord and the court that if y'all are letting him pay a fine of 1/2 of its goods, yes, I am quite satisfied with it. So he will let me have the other half in use. So he says that if he allows me the other half to render upon his death unto the gentleman that lately stole his daughter. So if he allows me the other half, so that I may after Shylock's death give it to that gentleman who had recently run away or eloped with his daughter. That means Lorenzo. Two things provided more, that for this favor he presently become a Christian, and two other conditions which Antonio has is that in return for this favor he must become a Christian, and not only that, he should draw up a gift deed that after he dies all that he possesses at the time of his death, they should go to his son-in-law Lorenzo and his daughter Jessica. That he do record a gift that here in the court of all he dies possessed unto his son Lorenzo and his daughter. So these are Antonio's conditions. So this is the mercy which Antonio shows to Shylock. Duke, he shall do this, or else I do recant the pardon that I pronounced here. So at this moment Duke is quite strict and he says yes, he will have to do it. Otherwise the pardon which I granted him, I will take it back. Portia, art thou contented, Jew? What dost thou say? So beggars can't be choosers. This is what is Shylock's condition at this moment. He has become a beggar, a pauper, and he cannot be a chooser. So he has to accept what is coming to him. I am content. Portia to Nerissa, clerk, draw a deed of gift. So Nerissa, I don't know how she can draw a deed of gift. All Portia's Portia fought the case well with the help of Bellario's notes. But how will Nerissa draw a gift deed? She is not really the clerk. All these are such impossible things framed up. Clerk, draw a deed of gift. Shylock, I pray you, give me leave to go from hence. I am not well. Send the deed after me and I will sign it. So a defeated man, poor fellow. Everything going against him at the last moment. So he says that please y'all do whatever y'all want, draw the gift deed, send it to my house, I'll sign it, please let me go, I'm not feeling well. Get thee gone, but do it. Okay, you are allowed to go, but don't forget to do it. Gratiano, in christening shalt thou have 2 godfathers. Had I been judge, thou shouldst have had 10 more to bring thee to the gallows, not to the font. So Gratiano, yes, he continues with his tirade against Shylock. He says that if I had been the judge, what would I have given? I would have so if Shylock becomes a Christian, he will have another godfather. Once when he had been baptized as a Jew and given the name Shylock, he had one godfather in whose arms he was held and given the name of Shylock. And now that he is becoming a convert, then he will be given one Christian name by a godfather. So in that case, he will be having 2 godfathers. So Gratiano is telling, had I been the judge, I would have given you 10 more godfathers. That means the 12 juries who help a judge in giving a judgment. So I would have given you a judgment not to be converted to Christianity but to be hanged. So had I been judge, thou shouldst have had 10 more to bring thee to the gallows, not to the font. So I would have gone for 12 juries to take you to the gallows, that means the place where a person is hanged, rather than to the font. So where he will be baptized. So instead of being baptized in the church, I would have rather sent you to your gallows. So Shylock doesn't answer, he goes. Duke, rising, sir, I entreat you home with me to dinner. Portia, I humbly do desire your grace of pardon. I must away this night toward Padua, and it is meet I presently set forth. So Duke requests Portia, invites rather Portia to dinner, but Portia very politely refuses, telling that she must reach Padua. Padua, why? Because Dr. Bellario, the letter says that she has come from Dr. Bellario, which is not the fact, but she has to say the same, because as Balthazar, the noted Roman doctor of law, she has to go back and report to Dr. Bellario what has happened. So she cannot tell, I have to go back to Belmont, because that would make Bassanio suspicious. So she tells that I have to go back to Padua, and it is required that I should start immediately. I am sorry that your leisure serves you not. Antonio, gratify this gentleman, for in my mind you are much bound to him. So Duke is quite sorry that yes, it's really sad that you cannot join us for dinner. And then he tells Antonio that satisfy this, that means give him his due, pay him, because I think you are quite obliged to him. Yes, he has saved your life. So the Duke and his attendants, they leave. Bassanio, most worthy gentleman, I and my friend have by your wisdom been this day acquitted of grievous penalties, in lieu whereof 3,000 ducats due unto the Jew, we freely cope your courteous pains withal. So what has Bassanio to offer? So Bassanio says that I and my friend, who is his friend? Antonio. Because of you, we have been freed from very severe consequences. Consequences what? Nothing would have happened to Bassanio, but his best friend, because of him, would have died. So Portia has come as the savior, and as a fee, what is he offering? That 3,000 ducats which he had borrowed from Shylock, the principal amount of Shylock. This one he offers to Portia as or the lawyer Balthazar as the payment. Antonio, and stand indebted over and above in love and service to you evermore. and over and above this, we will always remain indebted to you in love and service. Portia, he is well paid, that is well satisfied. So a person who is satisfied with the job he has done feels himself well paid. And I, in delivering you, am satisfied. In getting you free, I feel satisfied. And therein do account myself well paid. And I consider myself well paid. Why? Because I have been able to free you. If only everyone did in that way today. So yes, in my operation being successful, I consider myself well paid. So patients, you don't need to pay me money. Similarly, if all the lawyers said, oh, I have won the case and that has given me satisfaction, I don't need any money. Portia had a lot of money, so she could afford to say all this, and this was really her money only. My mind was never yet more mercenary. I was never more money minded. I pray you, know me when we meet again. This is an irony. She is telling, when we meet next, please recognize me. I wish you well, and so I take my leave. So I am sure you, please don't forget me when we meet next. This is an irony, because they are not going to meet her as Balthazar. Next time they meet her, it will be in Belmont as Portia. So please, this is ironical. She is telling, please don't forget me, know me when we meet again. Soon they are going to meet again, but Bassanio and Antonio doesn't realize what she is really speaking. And so I take my leave. Dear sir, of course I must attempt you further. Take some remembrance of us as a tribute, not as a fee. Grant me two things. I pray you not to deny me and to pardon me. So Bassanio won't let her go like that, and that is where he lands himself in trouble. He says, please, I will force you. At least take some souvenir, some remembrance as a tribute. And I ask you two things. Don't refuse me and forgive me for forcing you to accept. Portia, you press me far, therefore I will yield. So you are pressing me too much, so okay, I'll agree, I'll yield, I'll surrender to your wishes. To Antonio, give me your gloves, I'll wear them for your sake. So to Antonio, she has something which is is not at all harmful, not at all troublesome. Yes sir, your gloves, I'll wear them for your sake. To Bassanio, and for your love, I'll take this ring from you. Now she is deliberately up to mischief. She asked Bassanio for that very ring she had herself given on their wedding day and told that you should not part with you. It should not be given to anyone, it should not be sold, it should not be lost. And Bassanio had promised to it. And now she is asking for that very ring. And the next moment Bassanio draws his hand back. So she is telling, do not draw back your hand. I'll take no more. No, I'm not going to take anything else. This ring. And you in love shall not deny me this. And being a friend, I'm sure you will not refuse it. This ring. Good sir, alas, it is a trifle. Oh, you're asking for this ring. This is a very insignificant thing. I will not shame myself to give you this. So I wouldn't shame myself by giving you such a trifling ring, such a trifle as a tribute. No. I will have nothing else but only this. And now methinks I have a mind to it, and Portia is enjoying the situation. No, I don't want anything else, and I have decided to have it only. There is more. Now he is confessing. There is more depends on this than on the value. The dearest ring. No, he is not confessing now also. He is telling, this ring means more to me than the real value of this ring. Rather, I will make a announcement for the costliest ring in Venice and then give it to you. But for this ring, forgive me. The dearest ring will I give you, and find it out by proclamation. And how will I find out the most expensive ring? By making an announcement. and then finding that ring, I will buy it for you. Only for this I pray you pardon me, but for this ring please forgive me. I see, sir, you are liberal in offers. You taught me first to beg, and now methinks you teach me how a beggar should be answered. So Portia is enjoying the situation, and she is now tormenting in a naughty manner Bassanio and telling, sir, oh, I see you are very generous in making your offers, but you are not so generous in carrying them out. First you teach me to beg. I did not wish for anything. You forced me to ask for something, and you forced me to beg. You taught me to beg, and when I am begging, you are showing me how a beggar should be answered. Good sir, this ring was given me by my wife, and when she put it on, she made me vow that I should neither sell nor give nor lose it. So finally he confesses that this is my wedding ring, and my wife had made me promise that I should neither sell nor give nor lose it. So Portia deliberately keeps on. That excuse serves many men to save their gift, and if your wife be not a mad woman, she would not hold out enemy forever for giving it to me. Well, peace be with you. So she is telling, oh, people make such excuses when they want to save their gifts. If your wife is not a mad woman, and if she knows how well I deserve this ring, she would not remain enemy with you for a long time. She wouldn't be angry with you for a long time once she knows how much I deserve this ring. But it seems that people make excuses like this when they want to save a gift. Anyway, may you have peace. And then, pretending to be angry, she leaves with Nerissa. Antonio, my lord Bassanio, let him have the ring. Let his deserving and my love withal be valued against your wife's commandment. So Antonio says, my lord Bassanio, please let him have the ring. The service which he has done and your love for me, let these two combine against your wife's orders. Your wife has given you orders, but if you are breaking, your wife has made you promise you wouldn't give nor sell nor lose it. So, but let on the other side be my love for you and the deservings of this lawyer together combine and give him the ring. Bassanio, go Gratiano, see how can he refuse Antonio? He refused the lawyer, but he couldn't refuse Antonio, the man who had risked his very life and was on the verge of dying because of him. So Antonio's wish, he cannot say no to it. So when Antonio requests him, Bassanio agrees and he tells Gratiano to take the ring. Go Gratiano, run and overtake him, give him the ring and bring him, if thou canst, unto Antonio's house. So overtake him, take this ring, overtake him, hand him over the ring, and see that if you can bring him to Antonio's house. Away, make haste, go fast. So Gratiano takes the ring. Come, you and I will thither presently. Come, you and I will go there presently. Thither is Old English for there. And in the morning early, we will both fly towards Belmont. And tomorrow morning, early morning, we will rush towards Belmont. Come, Antonio. So both of them, they leave. So finally, Act 4, Scene 1, the climax or the trial scene comes to an end, and everyone is happy other than Shylock. Shylock is portrayed as the negative power which is defeated in the end. So it is always that the good wins over the evil. So victory of good over evil. So I think I have tried my best to explain it to you in as lucid manner as possible, and in that way we have finished our revisions, and in the next few videos I'll be trying to help you how to solve the questions. I'll be solving some specimen questions and trying to help you. And if you have any other requests, you can put it in the group in my channel, and then I'll try to do my best. For the time being, let me bid you goodbye. It's nearly 1/4 past 1. Bye bye. Have a good time.